morning, everybody. Welcome to House Calls with Luke. I'm your host, Luke Brown from Reata Horsemanship, and this is Tim, and we're working today with a horse of his. It's a miniature horse or a pony. His name, well, he's probably a Shetland pony. We're not quite sure, but his name is Bougie. We don't know how old he is, and he's got some serious issues being caught. He doesn't like to be caught. So we're in a relatively small area. It's probably, 50 by 100, something like that. They're going to eventually build some stalls, but right now they want to be able to catch him and work with him and, lead him around and just enjoy having him besides just seeing him as a lawn ornament. And so we're going to help Tim today learn how to catch Bougie and teach Bougie some things, and especially teach Tim some things so that in the future he could teach his wife and his children how to do the same thing. So maybe, Tim, you could just give us a little update on him and the background.
So we got Bougie from friends of ours that were moving to Texas. My daughter and their daughter was really close. My daughter rides horses next door with our neighbor, and she has for several years. So we plan on having a horse eventually, and we thought Bougie would be a good companion for my daughter's horse. But we got Bougie here, and Bougie doesn't like to be caught. As soon as you get Bougie, he's fine. He likes to be brushed. He doesn't resist, but he gets a little skittish, and so it scares my wife to walk up to Bougie, and Bougie starts running or kicking around, and as soon as you quarter Bougie, he starts sprinting, and so it's been tough for us to enjoy him. Mm-hmm. I mean, really, and I feel like we're almost neglecting him, and I'm kind of reason why you're here is because we don't want to neglect them.
Uh-huh.
We love all of our animals. You
can see they've got some goats here with Bougie. Two goats, right?
Yeah.
Two nannies.
Got the two pigs over there.
Those are the couscous. Yeah, we had some couscous. My wife likes them.
Yeah, it'd be me before the pigs if I'm here for sure.
Well, I'm excited to work with you today, and so this is Bougie here. I'm going to use a flag. I like this tool. This is one of my favorite tools when I'm doing my horsemanship stuff. And this is just a little flag that I got, I don't know, from Shopper Supply or something. I like to have a stiff pole on the flag, relatively stiff, so that it's flexible, but not so flexible that I can't use it for some good pressure. So this, if I'm waving this flag at all, I'm going to call it pressure. So what I'm going to do with him is I can create pressure, and I can also get his attention with the flag. So mainly what I want to do is try to get his attention. When I get his attention, I'm going to take the pressure away. And every time I get his attention and I take the pressure away, he's going to start getting more interested in me. And part of it is, like you talked about earlier, about how you had to run him around for quite a while with Steve until he got tired, and then he stood still and you walked up to him. That's a big part of catching horses, is getting them to want to stop running. If they're moving away from you, and if they come, let's back up. He's going to start eating everything on me, or she is. Goats, I know. Yeah, we have goats too. If we can use the system of pressure and release with horses. So you give them pressure. When they do the right thing, you release that pressure. So that he's going to learn from the release of pressure. So I think you're going to find that it's actually going to be easier than you thought to catch him. And then once you do start catching him, what I like to do, one of the things I do with horses is, some horses you can put pressure on them, teach them to look at you. Then when they look at you, you release the pressure, and then they start to come into you. They follow you around. You can catch them that way, but some horses, if you catch them every day that you catch them, you work with them, and you do something hard, then they start resenting being caught. So some horses that were once easy to be caught become hard to be caught because they resent having to work every time you grab them. So what I tell people is, it's not a bad idea to have some cookies in your pocket, or a little bit of grain. And so grain is an easy way to catch horses, but we'll use pressure and release, and then we can reward him with some grain or a cookie. And if you do that, like let's say you catch him one day and you work with him some, then another day you just catch him and feed him a little and then let him go. Then over time, you don't want him anticipating that he's going to have to work every time you catch him. So if he anticipates a nice treat every time you catch him, that's going to make it a lot easier to catch him. Okay, so I'm just going to start. I'm going to keep the halter in my hand, and when I do catch him, I'll go ahead and halter him. So I'm just going to start up by start out by walking towards him. And let's see, I'll just have you maybe stand over here, and then I'll work with him. So obviously if he runs past you, just don't let him, I guess kind of shoo him away from you if he gets close to you. You don't want him getting feisty and kicking out and kicking you. But and as you get a bigger horse, as he's going to be the companion for a bigger horse, you know, with a smaller horse like this, if he kicks out, it might sting a little, but a bigger horse could kick out and kill you, right? So we have to always be aware of that. So I'm just gonna, and because you have the goats in here, and that's how that's where he stays for right now until the goats hit their own pen. I'm okay with the goats being in here. It's the same thing. If I had 10 horses in here, or let's say 3 horses in here, I could still work on catching him and ignore the other 2 horses. So I'm gonna focus on him, and you know, he's looking at me right now, so I'm gonna back off some. Now, if he stops looking at me, then I'm gonna start going towards him. Right here, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go towards his butt, give a little pressure with my flag. I'm just waving this flag lightly. I'm gonna circle towards his butt. So horses, when they're colts, right there, he looked at me, so I'm gonna kind of go away. Horses, when they're colts, their mamas teach them to follow them by this system. They round towards their butt and they kind of push them forward, and then they allow the horse to start to follow them. So I'm being just like his mama. And that's why we yield the hindquarters on the ground. When we disengage the hindquarters or yield the hindquarters, I'm going towards his hips and seeing if he'll move his hips away and look at me. And that's what the mamas do. So I'm gonna wave my flag just a little bit, circle my flag. But I'm gonna try to get some movement, but I'm gonna get circular movement right there. See how he circled towards me? Now I'm just walking away here. One mistake that a lot of people make is they'll walk directly towards the horse, and that intimidates the horse, and the horse wants to run off. So once a horse gets good at it, usually I can do that, but right now I'm circling towards his hip. Let's see if I can get that hip to move. I'm just waving my flag a little bit. Cluck. Now he's going away, so kind of push him away. And there, he's starting to come towards me. Now he's going away, so I'm going to circle towards his hip. Coming towards me. Now eventually my goal is to get him to actually follow me around, and as he's following me in circles, I'm going to circle closer and closer to him. And if I can get to where he's really close to me and follow me around, I'm not even going to try to catch him yet. That's the key to teaching them how to be caught easily. Don't just go right for the goal. Circle towards your goal. So this is round penning 101. So he turned away from me, what I call turn tail to me, and I just put a little pressure on him and turn him back the same direction. So I'm round penning him. I'm getting him to go to the left. Every time he looks at me and wants to come in, I'm going to give him a little break. So you can round pin in a square pin, right? It's just about, it's liberty work. It's working with him without having a connection physically to him. Circle towards his hip. Wave that flag a little bit. There, that was good. So that time he didn't walk off and try to walk away. He actually faced me a little bit. Walk towards his hip. Now he's walking away, so I'm going to put some pressure on him. Pressure towards his hip. I'm waiting to see a change. I'm watching him, right? Close. He almost looked at me. Keep that pressure on. See, now that he's pretty committed to going in a circle, I'm just going to send him in a circle. Now I'm driving him forward, so I'm not circling towards his hip and trying to draw him in. I'm just driving him. Now, if he goes over here, so we're kind of locked in over here, so I'm gonna, if he'll turn and come towards me, I'll let him come out of there. He's licking and chewing right there, so I'm gonna give him a break. Circle towards his hip. Right there. Let him go out. Now I'm going to push him around. Right there, he looked like he wants to commit to me a little bit more. See how he came in towards me? And now he's licking and chewing. So that was the best commitment yet to coming towards me, where he took 4 or 5 steps and then he stopped and he's licking and chewing. So look at my body language. I'm just relaxed over here. I want to make sure he feels really good about coming towards me. Everybody wants to be their horse's buddy, and this is how you do it. You teach that pressure and release of pressure. I'm gonna get him to crave being with me. When he starts craving being with me, then it'll be super easy to catch him. And then I add on top of it some grain or some cookies, and you're golden. You should be able to catch him easily. Now, every horse has different personalities, and there's some horses that are just naturally harder to catch. And whether he's that way or not, well, it's yet to be seen. Circle towards his hip. Good, look at that. Now, if he'll just keep coming towards me, I'm going to start getting some forward motion to follow me here. It's going away. Good, now I'm going to change directions and go the other way. This is a technique I call weaving. So if I can get him to go a little bit to the right, let's put some pressure on his hip. Excellent. Now I'm going to switch and go to the left. So I'm getting him to weave left and right and eventually get him to go forward. I do the same thing when I'm riding a horse. If I'm getting a horse to ride under saddle for the first time, I'm going to move to the left, then move to the right, move to the left, move to the right, and pretty soon they'll start walking forward. I want to get those hips first. So I'm driving towards his hip, a little bit of pressure. Now, if he commits to walking off, I'm going to put more pressure on him. Good boy. Couple steps forward, work towards his hip. And put some pressure on him. Now, if he'll follow me out of there, that would be wonderful. And eventually, I want him to follow me in there and out of there. If he leaves, I'm going to push him along. He's welcome to leave, but he's going to feel some pressure when he does. When I ask a horse to speed up to a lope, I kiss. So I point, and then I kiss, and then wave my flag. He tried to turn tail to me. Sorry, goat.
assuming consistency is key to your commands. Kiss, kiss all the time. If you're going to use kiss, kiss, always use kiss, kiss.
Yeah. When I'm asking for a lope. So kiss, kiss. So my kiss is, I'm asking for a lope. So when I give the cue, the sequence of cues is really important. So I don't want to ask him to speed up by just waving my flag. When I just wave my flag and my body language is relaxed, I want him to relax. But if I point and then kiss and then wave my flag, this flag is pressure to get moving.
So, but across the family, we need to be consistent with our commands, right?
Yes.
Or our,
yeah, absolutely.
okay.
Yeah.
Your cues.
Yes. So your cues, if I ask a horse to speed up or try harder, it's always a cluck for me. That's the verbal cue I use. Like that. Can you do that? Yeah. So that's what I use to speed up or try harder. And then my kiss is to lope. That's how I do it. Some people actually use the word lope or use the word canter. I think the kiss is it's unique, and it's something that horses understand really clearly if you use that as a cue. Every time he goes over here, I want to walk towards that hip. Now he's going away from there. Every time, so this is kind of a unique situation where he's got this box and then he can run through and get over there. So it makes it what I'm going to do. I have to improvise all the time depending on where I'm at. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get him to follow me in here. If he runs over there, I'm going to put pressure on him until he comes back in here. And in here, I'm going to do my circling. And I'm daring him to go back out that fence, back out the gate. If he does, just going to follow him. Now, because he chose to turn around and come towards me a little bit, I stopped chasing him. He's licking and chewing. Now, licking and chewing means his parasympathetic nervous system is kicking in, his rest and relax system, right? Rest, relax, and digest. So if he's licking and chewing, that means he's feeling comfortable in that moment. I'm walking towards his hip. And if I'm sending him to the right, I'll keep the halter in my right hand and the flag in my left hand. Licking and chewing again. See how I move this flag a little? Good boy. Switch hands. Pressure. Now I could pretty easily go up and catch him right now, but I want to actually get him following me around the corral. Oh, he thought about following me. Look at this. He's asking the goats, "What do you think, gals?" I don't know about this crazy tall guy. I'm communicating with him and developing a relationship with him by treating him as a horse would, as his mama would. And using pressure and release of pressure. I don't think I can overstate the importance of pressure and release of pressure. That idea. Let's send him on. I don't mind reinforcing with treats, but most of my training is pressure and release of pressure. Because horses don't give each other treats in the wild, right?
Right.
They don't do that, but they use pressure and release of pressure. That's what natural horsemanship is teaching a horse using their evolved ways of learning. And their evolved ways of surviving. The horses that have good leaders, that herd survives. The horses that follow well, they survive. If they follow leaders well, then they survive. So we just have to be a good leader, and they naturally are going to come along. So I'm going to his other hip. Put some pressure, he's going away. Now he stopped at the gate. Perfect. So he stopped at the gate and looked at me and shifted his hips away, so I'm just going to step back and give him a break right there. So you talked earlier about getting him tired and he decided to just stand still. I'm using kind of that, but mostly it's about getting to his mind.
Yeah, because I don't think he's tired just from trotting around.
Yeah, he's not tired, he's not sweating. Now some horses I work with that need work catching, they will get sweaty. They'll get real sweaty. It just depends on the horse. But him, he looks like it's probably behavioral where he's just kind of gotten away with it. But he's not afraid.
And I think that was one of our biggest problems is we didn't know how to work with them when we first got them. Since friends moved to Texas, we didn't even get a real crash.
Uh-huh.
Drop off.
Yeah. Well, luckily you're getting a crash course with a pony.
Right.
Good boy. Now he's licking and chewing. Now I might try something here. I'm going to kind of walk to his side. Now when I approach a horse to pet him, if they're real nervous about me being around their head, I always approach, this is the safest spot to approach them, at a 45-degree angle from their shoulder. If I approach directly in front of them, that makes them nervous. If I approach towards the rear end, then I'm at risk of being kicked. He's got a little dun in him. He's got some stripes on his legs. Interesting. His color. Okay, just send him on his way. Walk towards his hip.
Yeah, he's definitely handsome, guys.
He's very handsome. That beautiful mane. Circle back the other way. I'm going to keep circling towards his hips. See if I can draw him towards me. See, it took 3 steps, 4 steps to 5, 6, 7, there we go. Starting to come more towards me. One of the ways I describe this is magnetizing my horse. So I can magnetize him to me, I can magnetize him to different areas in an arena. Help him really crave being in a spot or being with me by just pressure and release of pressure. Same thing with trailer loading. If I'm trying to get a horse in a trailer, I want to magnetize my horse to the trailer to where if I let them go, they just want to run into that trailer. And I'll take a horse that is freaked out about a trailer, and in 2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours, they're trying to get in the trailer. It takes some patience, but if you know what you can accomplish, you have some knowledge behind you and then start to get a little experience, then it's easy to be patient when you know what you're going to get. Send him the other way. Now I'm going to start to help him crave being close to me by moving him away from me. And even when he's trying to look at me, I'm just going to keep him going for a little while. Make being with me really easy and being away from me really hard. You see horses get out there when they are first meet each other, and you have some horses just chase another horse around for hours. And I think they're just trying to establish that need for rest. Now give him a little break. Now at some point here, I'm going to try to establish contact. By petting him on his neck or his face, and then moving away from him and seeing if I can get him to draw into me. I like that.
That is amazing.
Now because I'm in that corner, I'm going to do my weaving technique. So instead of walking behind over there where he feels a lot of pressure and he might want to move away, that didn't work very well, but maybe I'll go and circle, keep circling. So watch my feet as I'm circling towards him. I'm walking forward towards that, in a circle towards his hip. When he draws into me, automatically I start to walk away from him. Right there. But he is quite resistant to come forward more than a couple steps, right? Just going to keep working with him. Good boy. Let's see. I'm gonna start to approach him. If he gets real nervous, as soon as he starts getting nervous about me approaching him, I'm gonna stop. Offer my hand to him. Now if he reaches out and smells me, good. Now I'm going to walk away. Circle towards his hip. In a way, you got to think he probably feels pretty intimidated by such a big guy in front of him, right? Let's just send him on his way. I'm gonna get him to crave the rest now. Send him on his way. This is really good for his hooves too. Do a little natural trimming out here on this ground. Send him on his way. So if he commits to leaving me, I'm going to send him on his way. Push him a little bit. Make him work. Make that choice to leave me challenging for him. Make it hard on him. And then give him a chance to follow me. Now that's the best one yet. The last time he stopped in the middle of that gate, now he stopped before the gate. Chose to leave, so I'm going to push him on. Right there, I liked what he did. He stopped before he went into that those stall area. He's committing to leaving, so push him on. Change directions. Here's a good change. So that time he totally faced me, so that was the third time that we had success of him stopping and not going back into the other pen. He's thinking about it. I'm gonna stand over here and just let him relax unless he leaves. He leaves, I'm gonna push him on. Maybe we can teach the goats to be caught too. Here he comes. Push him on. Push him on. Now I missed that there. He started to run through. He was about to look at me. And I missed it and started putting pressure on him. I should have released that pressure right then. Got the dog helping us out. The goats and the dog are With me, the goats, and the dog, we should be able to get this done. Good boy. Pressure. Good boy. I'm going to change my strategy a little bit right now, and I'm going to put pressure on him unless he's coming towards me, but I'm going to keep him from going through this gate. Right there. Use his magnet over here to incentivize coming towards me. He's going away. Pressure. Coming towards, release my pressure. See if I can approach him. Pressure. Release. Good boy. So when I start to approach him, he doesn't want me to get close, right? Pressure, 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 and release. Pressure. Release my pressure.